here we are. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Here we are at the start of a wonderful sunny day. It was really sunny yesterday, so I think that's going to continue today. So I'm often glad that I do my my good morning walks in the morning. Because if I did them any later today, I think I'd be absolutely melting. Pretty birds, good morning to you. Greetings to you. Hi from Halifax. Hang on, who's that? Can't see. Phil, good morning to you. Shanks, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Oh, who's that? That was me. Mitchus, good morning to you. But yes, it's an absolutely cracking morning this morning. Yeah, it's going to be very, very hot today. Conservator, good morning to you. Joe, good morning to you from Dublin. Well, not me from Dublin, but good morning. Yeah. Good morning to you from, you know what I mean. But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. Of course, Conservator joining us from the Netherlands. Like I say, good morning to everyone joining us. Like I say, today we will be discussing, Catholic, hello to you. There we go. Ingrid, good morning to you from Austria. Good morning to you. P, good morning to you. Shanks, do you have a heat wave over there? Oh, that's the Conservator, not to me. I think they probably will, if not already. I don't have to go under there today. Here we go. Always easy when they leave a little bit of a gap. There we go. So, where to begin? where to begin? Obviously, as I'm sure you have all probably heard by now, Boris has handed in his resignation, but he is not yet gone from the position, which, trust me, the Tories are going to regret not removing him, shall we say, completely from office, because there's a lot more stuff coming down the pipe that they are going to regret leaving him in there for. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Little foal. I won't show you the other way because they're being horses are being very, very rude. But yes. Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning, one and all. Yes, it's a bit too early to show that kind of stuff, what the ponies are doing in the other direction. But yes, as you all know, Boris is gone. But they, the next batch of ponies, yeah. Oh, Lara, greetings from Spain, greetings to you. Oh, hola. So, yeah, it really is where do we start now? Because, to be honest, well, it's Tory leadership time. And I think it's worth explaining for those maybe new to sort of this channel, or maybe you've forgotten. So it's very much worth explaining it again. So I have been telling people since, shall we say, the days of, well, Johnson clearly, shall we say, making himself known that he probably was going to get ousted. The Tories have always been thinking about who is going to be the next leadership contestant, who could replace them, and especially in what direction they could take the Tory party. Because the leadership of any particular party has the ability to take the party in one direction or another. So it is always hugely important to know and understand where the leader stands. You saw this with Corbyn. When Corbyn came in, everyone knew that he was sort of a socialist, so he was going to drag Labour very, very much more towards the left. And of course, as we saw during that time, there were a lot of people in the party that very, very much resisted against Corbyn. And to be honest, you can make the argument that they did so rightly or did so wrongly, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. Well, actually, that is what we're discussing today, because you could see that happen with whoever gets elected. I mean, bear in mind, a video from Conservative Home yesterday, and under the description, if you didn't read it, I wrote, "Imagine being so conservative you think that Jeremy Hunt is left wing." And the Conservative Home website especially is quite important, especially during the next couple of this leadership contest. I'm keeping an eye on it, because the Conservative Home website loves to reach out to the Conservative membership and get polls and all sorts of kind of stuff. So this just goes to show you how far the Conservative membership, or at least how far right the Conservative membership has gone, that you've got people in Conservative Home who think that Jeremy Hunt, of all people, is too far left, you know, or is left wing. This is just kind of stuff, you know, that I've got to tell you, or at least inform you about, just so you can see, when I've been talking about how crazy this Conservative leadership contest is going to be. So, yeah. So I've got a video coming out later on this afternoon, and it goes over of what we think the potential 11 candidates are, or at least who we suspect would probably be thinking of running. And everyone there are the probable potential candidates. So if you're interested in to see who the full pack of, well, ne'er-do-wells, shall we call them, is going to be running for the leadership contest, then almost certainly wait for that video for this afternoon. But we are talking today about those who have confirmed their leadership running position today. So as of now, there are 4 officially in the running. We've got Tom Tugendhat, we've got Suella Braverman, the current Attorney General. Rishi Sunak announced yesterday, and we've also got the new quote Education Secretary. What's her name now? Donaliver, I think her name is, or Dovler. But those are the official forefront runners, shall we say, in this pack. Morning. So those are the official 4 front runners. We are expecting more to announce, so there will probably more names be following on for today. So let's start discussing these people and what their chances potentially are. Well, of course, I think it's quite rightly that we should point out and start with probably the biggest name so far in the runnings. And that is, of course, Rishi Sunak. What are his chances? To be honest, and I will say this openly now, because of the nature of this race, because of the fact that there was no dedicated successor to Johnson, this race is wide open. And this is why I'll say we could see someone win from the Conservative Party who is not a big traditional name. So this is why you almost certainly see Tom Tugendhat put his name in. Most of you have probably never heard of this guy. Like I say, this is like what was the best way to describe it? Imagine being a collector of, like, you know, really fine china, and everyone knows, like, the big sort of brand names in the fine china, but there are always, like, lesser known you know, china makers within the world, but you don't get to see them very often. Or shall we say, they're not as prominent as the others. And I think there's very, very big chance we could see someone win the leadership contest who traditionally doesn't have brand name recognition, sort of outside, like, the Conservative circles. And Tom Tugendhat has been very much a constant critic of Boris Johnson, but we're not talking about him yet. We'll get on to him next. But Rishi Sunak, of course, turns out might have been very much a bit of an opportunist. Because obviously as soon as he announced his running, he's got a website up. I think it's Rishi for PM or Rishi for leader or Sunak for leader or something like that. People went investigating and people went digging around trying to find out. Yeah, this is a bit of a quick website to get up. So it turns out Sunak has had this website registered and ready to go since the height of Partygate of last year, when we were hearing about all the revelations pre-Sue Gray report. So yeah, this is he's been very much the opportunist. He's been very, very much the opportunist about shall we say, his website. Oh, Cathode G, good morning to you. Crowban, good morning to you. Don't think I said good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else who's just joining us. Like I say, discussing the leadership contest. So we're discussing so far the 4 officially announced candidates. So we're just discussing Rishi Sunak at the moment. But as Cathlonic points out, Rishi did get a fine. That may play against him. That may certainly play against him. Not only that, of course, you may remember just a couple of months ago, his wife's non-dom status. And that almost certainly will play against him. There was a lot of people back then saying that that has torpedoed his chances in a leadership contest. And I suppose we're about to find out just how much that may have sort of affected him in the running. And there's also a lot of people continuing and commenting on the fact that, look, Sunak's been in charge. He's been there throughout all this Johnson stuff, and yet he only resigned sort of later into it, not when all the other stuff could have been, he could have resigned for. So anyway, and it's not just Rishi who might have to answer the questions like this. It is going to be anyone in the cabinet who has been, part of Boris Johnson's current cabinet, is certainly going to have a rough ride of it. And you've got a lot of Conservative MPs who have been saying that they are not going to back someone in Boris Johnson's current cabinet. So you may find in the first round, because the first round is, I think they need 18, I believe the number is. They need 18 MPs to back them to get sort of past this first round. In the second and third round, I believe they need 36. And then, well, we'll have to see where it goes from there. But you could see Rishi Sunak potentially not get past the first round. And I think Rishi's hoping, or at least he is really hoping, that his resignation is going to play to his favour. And because, again, this is like I say, Tory leadership contest, we really don't know. We really do not know how this is going to play out against him. Not only that, you have a lot of people in the Conservative Party saying that Rishi is not a true Conservative, that he spent big, did not do the tax cuts. And there are a lot of Conservatives that certainly feel that the Eat Out to Help Out scheme wasn't a good idea. If you may even remember back in the day, I was just saying how shocking it is that the Tory party is engaging in socialism in a bit with that scheme. So Rishi Sunak, what are his chances? I think being currently the biggest name in the running does give him a lot of chances. I think being in Boris's cabinet certainly has damaged his reputation. Obviously, his resignation might off-play that, but the question is how much. You've obviously got the revelations about his wife's non-dom status. There have already been attacks against him, according to the Daily Mail, because, again, if you want to cover the Tory leadership contest, these are the type of publications you've got to pay attention to and read. You've already got attacks from them, so potentially the Daily Mail is not going to cover Rishi. We'll see. Calling him Rishi Rich. So, what are his chances? Well, if he makes it past the first round, I think his chances are good. I think his chances might improve the further he gets to the final 2 rounds. But that's the point. You don't really know until until the voting really starts, until it kicks in. And we're going to have to see if Rishi Sunak can indeed make it past the first round of voting, because I think he's going to find it quite easy to get maybe those 18 MPs to back him. But after that, in the first proper round of voting, that is where I think the difficulties we will start to see. Oh, fact, good morning to you. So that is the situation for Rishi Sunak. And so far, he is the only big name runner. Now, everyone else we're going to talk about, currently we've got Suella, and we've got Braverman, who is thank you very much, Cathology. Why is Sunak there at all? Does he need a job? I think he's putting his name in because I think that he thinks he has a good chance of doing it. I really think he does. I really think he does. I think he thinks he has a good chance. And of course, it's, as we just said there before, it's the question of how much baggage that he has with him. Oh, good morning to you, Mitch. How much baggage does Johnson or does Rishi have with him that could, there we go, that could ruin his chances? I don't think we'll find out until maybe the first round of voting, so we'll have to see. So that's Rishi Sunak. So let's get on to a couple of these ones. Let's talk about Tom Tugendhat, because this is someone who, again, many of you probably don't know who this guy is. He is very much a sort of name in the parliamentary party. He is quite popular in the parliamentary party. He has been a constant critic of Johnson since day one. He was a Remainer back in 2016, so that will potentially maybe play against him. But again, the question is how much? Because of course, the Conservatives put Theresa May in, who was a Remainer in the sort of in the pack last time, and obviously she ended up sort of running unopposed back then, and she very, very much went for a softer Brexit, which, well, at that point, the hard right-wing Eurosceptic free market fundamentalists, libertarian rights, I know it's a mouthful, but hey, if you want to label them correctly, then got to call them what they are. So it's very interesting to see how that might play against him, because a lot of them are going to be playing these are my Brexit credentials cards. Oh. Morning. No. So that is going to be quite interesting to see how that plays against him, because he isn't the only potential Remainer potentially looking at running, and that could, to be honest, that's the only thing well, actually it's not the only thing. He's got two things going against him. Obviously he was a Remainer back in 2016, so as we said, that could damage his chances. But one of the things he's offering, and I think is going to be very attractive to a lot of Conservative MPs, is a clean start. So he's basically saying, look, the Conservative Party needs a complete clean start. We need to wipe the slate clean and start again. And I think at this moment in time, that could be very, very attractive, at least a very attractive proposition to many of the Conservative MPs. He's also a Scottish MP, so that could certainly play well with a lot of the One Nation Conservatives as well. Having a Scottish MP in, so that could certainly play well with them. So he's got that going for him. He's ex-military as well. That will play very well with a lot of the Conservatives. He's done a very, very good job on the Foreign Affairs Select Committee. He's most known for his speech he did during the Afghan withdrawal, where he sort of laid into, at the time, Dominic Raab for his actions following that. So he's got a lot of pluses going for him. The only negative, of course, is probably his name recognition. That is his only disadvantage. But if the Conservatives really do genuinely want a clean sweep, he could get in. But he also does represent, very much so, a pullback from the hard right that the Tories have gone in recent years. So he could pull the Tories back from their far right inclinations back to a more sort of right centrist point of view. So that will be very interesting, especially when it gets to the members' vote, because we'll still see just how much the UKIP infiltration still has an effect on the party. So that's Tom Tugendhat. I think he's got a good chance. As I said and as I said in a lot of these videos about this leadership contest, it's a completely open field. And to be honest, anything could happen. Genuinely, anything could happen. So let's, of course, talk about next one. This is Suella Braverman, of course, the current Attorney General. Is Ben Wallace running? He's a prospective candidate at the moment. Ben Wallace is a prospective candidate. He hasn't announced that he is running yet, but I suspect that he might. But talking about Suella, yeah, indeed, Clonic, she's awful. This at the moment, unless Steve Baker throws his hat in the ring, which again might be very well be quite possible. We'll have to see. Because of this, she is currently the worst. She really is currently the worst candidate who could win. So, what has she got going for her? Well, to be honest, the only thing that she's got going for her is that she has a very similar story to Rishi Sunak. Daughter of 2 immigrants who came to this country. She did very, very well for herself. She's now the Attorney General, or well, former Attorney General soon. And of course, she's a single parent with 2 kids. And that's her story. So it's a question of do the Tories want to field this type of candidate with that story? Because ultimately, when it comes to election politics, stories like that can have an effect on people's voting habits and who they want to vote for. So maybe that could play well in her favor. But just as with Rishi, not only was she a current cabinet member throughout all this saga, but not only did she not resign, I don't think she lined up with the MPs telling him to go. So she's got that against her. But she's just plain awful, really. She really is. And it's sort of, what else can she offer sort of the Tory party? I don't really think she can offer them sort of a clean start to get away from the Boris years. I think she is offering just a continuation of that. Just, it's not going to be Boris Johnson. And it's difficult to see. It really is difficult to see whether or not she even makes it past this first round. And of course, that's a good point that someone's just bringing up. Her knowledge of the law. She is very, very much responsible for our current situation regarding the Northern Ireland Protocol, because she's the Attorney General. She is offered advice to tear up the Northern Ireland Protocol, but at a couple of times where she should have been in Parliament to talk about her legal advice, she hasn't been there. And the other thing is that this legal advice in particular, from what we know, comes from a former Trump lawyer who I'm not 100% sure, this former Trump lawyer may also be in trouble because he might have been involved in the January the 6th incident. I call it an incident. Insurrection in America. So that will play very, very bad against her, that she sought out this legal advice from this particular person. So it's, why on earth Does she think she can run? Partly, I think she thinks she can maybe advance her position. That may be the case. She thinks she can advance her position and sort of maybe get a name out there. Maybe she thinks this isn't her time, but maybe next time, as they say. And that may be her current position. And then you've got Donovan, who was the person that was brought in to replace Savage Javid, not Javid, Nadeem Zawawi, as the education minister. And to be honest, currently at this moment in time, she wasn't even on my list of potential candidates who might put their name forward. This is and the only thing is, she announced at the same time as Rishi Sunak. So her announcement very, very much got, should we say, buried under Rishi's announcement. And other than that, she's the current health secretary. Other than that, she's, well, not the current health secretary, the secretary for education. I really can't tell you a lot more than that. I really can't tell you a lot more than that. And I think that could spell her doom. I think, like many people, she's thought, well, this is such an open field. I'm just going to put my name in just to try and get some brand recognition. So well, who knows? She may end up being the Prime Minister. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of months' time, I'll be like, yeah, so that Donovan person who I counted out, yeah, turns out she's just been elected the Prime Minister. You know, turns out she wins the whole pack. So, but that is possible. That is possible. The two current members out of the four are not sort of members of the cabinet. And I think Tom Tugendhat's offer to the Conservatives, I think is going to be quite attractive to a lot of Conservatives wanting that clean start. Just because you demand it, there you go. There's some ponies. So, and I think that's the situation. I think anything could happen in this leadership contest. I really, really do. Anything could happen. The field is so open. The field is so open. You have no idea who could win. Yeah, horses are to be better than most Tories. Very, very true. But that is the situation that we've got. Look at this little guy here. Oh no, this one off. Yep. So, make no mistake, anything could happen in this leadership contest. And as yet, there are still probably more candidates. Oh, there we go. There are still probably more candidates probably going to announce they're running this weekend. Potentially, as we've said already, Ben Wallace, the current Defence Secretary, he may choose to run. You've got Steve Baker, who, again, if you think Suella Braverman is the bad choice to replace Boris, well, you know, I've got news for you. You know, Steve Baker's sort of the worst choice. In fact, if he ends up running, he is like the worst choice to win. What's Patel doing? She could put her hat in the ring. She could absolutely put her hat in the ring. But again, she's got too much baggage. She's got way too much baggage. You know, you've got to remember that Priti Patel, back during the Cameron years, went off to basically pursue her own foreign policy without informing her own government of what she was doing, and posed a massive security issue. And a lot of people have questioned her credibility then to ever hold office, and that she should never ever be allowed on the front benches, which when Boris Johnson brought her in, if you may remember back at that moment, was greeted with quite a lot of shock. So make no mistake, if she does run, she's got a lot of baggage with that allegation that to many, many Tories counts her out almost immediately. So while she may put her hat in the ring, she is in no way means going to win it or have an easy time, shall we say, depending on how far she could get. Like I say, we've got obviously Steve Baker, you know, he's the possible worst candidate, but unfortunately would be very, very popular amongst a lot of MPs. So he could, if he put his hat in the ring, he could certainly make it to the final two. And you don't really know who else could run at the moment. Liz Truss. Liz Truss is a possible one. Let's not discount Liz Truss, but of course she at the moment is at a G20 summit. At least I still think she is. I don't know if she's come back or not, but Liz Truss will run. And already, as we said earlier, the Daily Mail is discounting her. Mitch, BHM, have you talked about the 1922 committee ejecting Boris for sure? At this moment in time, to be honest, they really don't need to. I mean, we'll see what happens with the 1922 committee. Whether the Conservatives really go and want to sort of go the full distance and get rid of him. But with this leadership contest underway, it's sort of already assured that he's gone. It's just a question of how long this leadership contest takes. And there's a lot of Conservatives, including John Major, who want this leadership contest done as quickly as possible so that they can get rid of Johnson very, very quickly, because it's sort of pointless getting rid of him, because if Boris hadn't resigned and the 1922 committee had to step in and obviously have a vote of no confidence, then essentially what happens now would have happened anyway. So, yeah. Conservator. Does Truss actually know what she's doing at the G20 meeting? Yeah. It's who knows. So that's the current, at least we've got those four at the moment. Like I say, I expect this field to expand very, very quickly this weekend. Very, very quickly. We may even have a look at Rishi Sunak's website in the coming days. In fact, I might do a video about that today, covering what he's got on his website. I know he's done a video which is just as interesting because we know that website was registered back at the height of Partygate. So Rishi was clearly expecting Boris to go at that point and had, shall we say, assets ready to go for a potential leadership contest. But yeah, the video is even more interesting because when did Rishi find the time to do this leadership announcement video? That could have been interesting as well if that gets found out when that video was done. But yeah, the mudslinging hasn't started yet, but I don't think it will start until after this first potential round. Because obviously what these current four are trying to do is that they are now trying to get the backing of at least 18 MPs to basically secure that they go through to the next round. And of course, the more people who join the fray, the less MPs there are who might want to do that. So of course, these early announcers are going to have a lot of opportunity to be able to get those first lot of not only 18 MPs, but also start lobbying those 32 other MPs they have to get for certainly the next round. And of course, the round after that, and the round after that, the round after that. We don't know how long this will go until we get to the postal ballot, where it does come down to the final two, to essentially find out who the winner is going to be. And the final two could be, I think, unknowns. I think, Tom Tugendhat, I think he has got a very good chance of getting to the final two. And as I said, it was a moment ago, Donovan, the brand new education secretary, she's put her hat in the ring. Because this is such an open field, we may be here in a month's, 2 months' time and going, so guys, that unknown that I had no idea about because she's such an unknown, even I didn't know about her. Yeah, she's won. So that's how crazy this contest is going to be. You do not know who could win. Even the bookies are putting very, very high odds on who could win at this moment in time, because even they don't know who could win. And as I will keep saying about this contest, at this moment of time, this race is anyone's to win. Anyone could pop out of nowhere and become the de facto winner, almost, in a way. But we don't know. This contest is going to be full of twists. It's going to be full of turns. It's going to be full of definite mudslinging. Oh boy! And you can bet. Suella and of course Rishi are going to get. They are going to get at the moment. They are going to get mud slung at them hard. Purely for the fact that, again, they were in Boris's cabinet, and we have to see how all this plays out, how this leadership contest in itself plays out, how these interviews go, how maybe there are new revelations. We just don't know how this is going to play out. So make no mistake, this is a wide open field. And anyone could claim victory. It is not certain that even a big name like Rishi Sunak could win. And oh yes, that's a fair point Chthonic brings up. Beer Gates is now over, which I think was very, very lucky because, you know, as I've said, the potential nightmare scenario of that happening, I think that played very, very well towards Starmer. I think he's won a lot of support for that, and what I continue to say is he needs to release a manifesto. He should release a manifesto of this is what a Labour government will do. I think he needs to start putting out Labour policies, and we've been saying that since day one on this channel. You know, he needs to start putting out policies, and not just this is what my education secretary says, or this is what you know, Ed Miliband says. No, this is the document that says this is what a Labour government is going to do. I think that would put him in a lot of better standing, I think, with a lot of better people. And I think it would lay out a lot more, you know, what we could do. Plus, it would give me a lot of content to talk about, because then we could talk about Labour policies, which will be, which I'm sure for a lot of you will be very, very fun to talk about. So, as always, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been as fun as always. Like I say, the Tory leadership contest is just kicking off. So if you are new to the channel and you want to continue following this almost wacky racers type-esque race that this could turn out to be, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. And also, you know, hit that like and share button on your way out. Enjoy your weekend. In the UK, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. As you can see, it's shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic weekend. The weather is going to be absolutely cracking Six Flags, as they say. Yeah, it's only going to get warmer over here. I'm glad I'm doing it this morning, because I think it's only going to get warmer, and it's quite warm now, to be honest. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. Have a fantastic one. As always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And yeah, and enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next weekend for another Good Morning Walk. Like I say, down below there are my Patreon links, my one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee if you'd like to buy me a coffee. Thank you very much to all the people who do help and support the channel that way. Like I say, leave a comment after, and all that good stuff. So thank you very much for joining me all today. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you all next time for another Good Morning Walk.